Alright, starting the recording. It's been a while. Hello everybody, welcome back, and there we go, it just started. So yes folks, we are back with another video. I apologize, it's been 9 days since I've posted the video, and the reason why I haven't been very active lately is because tomorrow is actually our periodic examination. You know what? It's a test. We have exam tomorrow, and in Tuesday too we have an exam. And yeah, I've been very busy. I've been studying, been reading notebooks, like books. So yeah, it's been a while. So this is a continuation of our series in Extra History by, oh yeah, you know what? That was wrong. A continuation of a series made by Extra History, and it's about World War I, the Seminal tragedy, the July crisis. This one talks about the July crisis. This is after the killing of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Sarajevo, Serbia, by Gavrilo Princip. So that was last episode 2. But this one is episode 3, and here we go folks. It's been a while since I've reacted to a video, and it's been a while since I've learned about history. So yeah folks, like and subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you for all of your support. And the background music, I'm going to change it. I'm going to search for new background music for my videos. It might actually be almost of a hip-hop, a hip-hop one, even though this is a YouTube channel that is about history, but I still want to put hip-hop background music. And big shout out to Potato Smash PH for making my banner, my YouTube banner. It looks good, it looks amazing. I know it just looks very average, but hey, I like it. Big thank you for him. So here we go guys, and yeah, let's go.
The 5th of July, 1914. The Archduke and Duchess are dead. Gavrilo Princip is in jail, but catastrophe is not yet certain. Act 2 begins. We open on an Austrian delegation arriving in Potsdam. It is now a week after the assassination of Franz Ferdinand. The Austrians want to take action. They want war with the Serbs, who they think are behind the group of ragged young men that actually pulled the trigger. But before they can have their war, they decide they must consult with their much stronger ally, the German Empire. So they send a delegation to Potsdam to meet with the Kaiser, Wilhelm II. They've been restrained before by Germany, held back from acting in the Balkans, so they need to know what Germany plans to do. They go to the Kaiser and tell him that this is intolerable, that they cannot abide such a humiliation, that they cannot let this act of terrorism go unpunished. And the Kaiser says to them, "We'll back you whatever you do. Just act, and act quickly."
The patty cake or patter cake of Europe. It's in the Balkans. Every war starts there. It's not really every war, but I don't know. You might I have to search about that. But yeah, any type of war, it always starts in the Balkans, but not all. Okay, not all. Anyway, let's go.
Germany is behind you without reservation. The Kaiser thinks that general war can be avoided, that if the Austrians strike while all of Europe is enraged over this assassination, if they act while the brutal slaughter of the Archduke and Duchess is still fresh in people's minds, no one will raise a finger to defend Serbia. And even if the Russian Empire decided that they wanted to protect their Serbian allies, if the Austrians can strike quickly, it'll be a fait accompli. The war will be over before the Russians can mobilize their forces. This is what...
Yeah, because Russia, if they mobilize very slowly, because they're a massive country, and for calling up troops, it's gonna take a while. But knowing that it's Austria and it's World War I, it's Austria-Hungary.
What he thinks as he tells the Austrian delegation that they have a blank check, that Germany will back them whatever they do. And then he goes on vacation, on a boat, for 3 weeks where he can't be reached. So the Austrians come home, German assurances in hand, but in Austria there's disagreement. The Hungarian part of their empire initially objects to war. They hope that a peaceful solution might be found, but their voice is alone. Where were the other voices of reason or the other arguments for peace? Dead on the streets of Sarajevo. The Archduke was perhaps the greatest defender of the Serbs in the empire, and so when moderation was called for, the parties for war simply had to point to his death and say, he was their greatest friend, look what they did to him, what do you think they're gonna do to us? And all arguments were quelled. So at last, the Hungarians relented on one condition, a condition that'll be important later, that the Austro-Hungarian Empire would not annex a foot of Serbian land. And with that, the Austrians began drafting an ultimatum to Serbia. But this ultimatum is delayed by a chance for peace. Two men, rivals in the heart of Serbia, in Belgrade, the very capital in the center of this crisis, are two of the only men farsighted enough to see the clouds gathering on the edge of Europe. They are the ambassador from Austria and the ambassador from Russia to Serbia. They both have come to the same conclusion about where this storm will end, so they plan to put aside their differences and meet to perhaps work out a plan for peace. On the 10th of July, the Russian ambassador arrives at the house of the ambassador from Austria-Hungary. The details are agreed to, the plan is set, all that's left is one final meeting to perhaps smooth out tensions, to avert world war. They talk, they take cigarettes, both sides are open, things are going well, and then wham! The Russian ambassador falls dead of a heart attack. Nothing signed, no war stopped.
Oh.
The Serbians blame the Austrians. Rumors circulate that they had the Russian ambassador assassinated, that the Austrian ambassador killed him in his own house. Worse still, this leaves the Russians without an ambassador in Serbia. As events begin to accelerate toward war, they have no diplomatic channel at the center of everything, no lines of communication, no eyes or ears on the ground.
So, which means, what extra history is telling us, war is inevitable. Anyway.
They have nobody with the experience, connections, or familiarity with Serbia that the former ambassador had to send out. And even if they did, it'd take weeks to get them appointed and shipped from Moscow to Serbia.
Heck, even before all of this, war is very inevitable in Europe at this time period. The Franco-Prussian War, there was a lot of wars that happened before the Great War. And comment down below anything about this. This is my first time learning about it, and I want to learn. And if you guys are here, thank you for commenting any details in the comments. Anyway, let's get back to
Sarajevo. Weeks they don't have. But with this last overture turning to catastrophe, the Austrians decide it's finally time to send their ultimatum. But they can't. Again, they delay. You see, President Poincaré, the leader of France, is going to Russia to meet with the Tsar, and the Austrians, ever nervous, decide that they can't send the ultimatum while their two greatest adversaries are meeting together in the same place. It would never do. They could make decisions too quickly. They could coordinate in ways they normally couldn't when they're 1,000 miles apart. So the Austrians delay. They wait until Poincaré is 100 miles out to sea before sending their ultimatum. But at last, on the 23rd of July, an ultimatum is sent, from the Austrians to the Serbs. The Serbs have 48 hours to agree to all points or face war. The ultimatum asks many things, but most of all, it asks that Austrian police be granted free rein to investigate the assassination on Serbian soil. This is impossible. To agree to such a thing is tantamount to giving up sovereignty. No nation would accept this. But that's alright, because the ultimatum is only a ruse anyway, a cover for what the Austrians really want. The Austrians want war. They want the ultimatum to be rejected, because they want to appear to the world as though they gave the Serbs a chance to avoid a conflict. They want to appear blame-free for the invasion they're planning. And here's where things begin to speed up. Europe begins to boil. Up until this point, the crisis in the Balkans is just another event on the world stage, but all of a sudden, with the release of this ultimatum, people start to clue into what's happening. Powers outside of Austria, Germany, and Serbia begin to pay attention. But for us, we're going to turn our attention to one man, Sergei Sazonov. Sergei Sazonov was the foreign minister of Russia, and for him, the 24th of July is about to be a very, very busy day. In the morning, he wakes to receive the terms of the ultimatum that Austria sent to Serbia. He reads quietly to himself, then turns to an aide and fatefully utters, "It's a European war." A cabinet meeting is hastily assembled. The highest levels of the Russian government are all there. They resolve to ask the Austrians to give the Serbs more time, while at the same time pushing the Serbs not to resist the Austrians. They also make the fateful decision to begin a partial mobilization of their forces along the Austrian border, trying to play all the angles at once in the schizophrenic chaos that seemed all too common in the days just before the war. Now it's noon. Sazonov takes lunch with the French and British ambassador.
Okay, now this is cool. He's telling us that when the Austrians sent the ultimatum, they saw it. They saw something in it, and they saw like war. Now they're preparing for it. Comment down below anything, because I'm kind of lost right now. I'm very, very lost. But I'm a little bit understanding what is happening. So yeah, Sazonov. This is the first time I've heard about this guy. So yeah, anyway, let's go.
The French ambassador reiterates France's complete support. The British ambassador says that Britain sympathizes but that he can't make any commitments. Now it's afternoon. The Russian ministers reconvene. With Sazonov confirming the unwavering support of the French, they decide to fully back Serbia, even to the point of war. And now it's evening. Sazonov meets with Portales, the ambassador from Germany. Portales begs Sazonov to call off Russian mobilization. He tells him that there must be solidarity between the monarchies, that they must work together or all fall alone. The argument gets heated. Portales tells Sazonov there will be revolution. Revolution in Europe if the monarchies do not work together. If they don't work together, all the crowns will fall. And he's right. Within 5 years, all the great monarchies of Europe, true monarchies, monarchies where the monarch was the head of state, would collapse. Within 5 years, the Ottoman Empire, the Austria-Hungary...
Yeah, I just realized. Yeah, all of the monarchies from these nations was removed. The German Empire, the Tsar. Wait, was it the Tsar? No. Kaiser. There we go. Kaiser Wilhelm II was removed. Tsar Nicholas II was removed. I forgot who was the monarchy in Austria-Hungary, but it was removed, and the Ottoman Empire. Yeah. That is interesting. Anyway, comment down below
Hungarian
anything.
Empire, the Russian
Anyway, let's go.
Empire and the German Empire would be no more. Their kings dispossessed, thousands of years of monarchical tradition burnt away in the fires of cataclysmic war. And then something tragic happens. It's one of those small tragedies that lines the path to the First World War, those things that tear you up as you read about these events with perfect hindsight. It's one of those moments that almost makes this seem like a script, like a high drama constructed for the stage, until you realize how real it is, real enough to wipe out a generation. For you see, Sazonov utters the words, "If Austria-Hungary swallows Serbia, we will go to war." Did you catch it? If not, that's alright, neither did Portales. Poor Portales, who so desperately wants to avoid war. You see, Russia's main concern was that Austria would annex Serbia. If the Austrians planned to conquer Serbia, then it had to be war. But remember earlier, when the Austro-Hungarians were arguing among themselves about the ultimatum, that Hungarian element wouldn't lend its voice to war unless the other members of the Austro-Hungarian Empire agreed that they would not annex a foot of Serbian soil. Well, nobody told Portales. He was the German ambassador, not the Austrian ambassador, and somehow the memo never got to him that the Austrians had no plans to actually take over Serbia. So in their whole discussion, he never gets to communicate this to Sazonov. This may be one of the last moments where the world could have avoided this war.
Chance.
Portales impassioned, begging for peace, Sazonov firmly stating the Russian case, the two diplomats meeting in the quiet St. Petersburg night. But the world hinges on small things, and in that gentle night, one of the last the world would know for years, the opportunity is missed. The hands of fate tighten around the neck of Europe. The next day, the Austrians reject demands that they extend the deadline, the Kaiser at last decides to return to Germany, and 2 minutes before the ultimatum expires, the Serbians send Austria their reply. But that's a story for next time. We'll see you then.
Yep. That was a fascinating episode, and oh my. I think I didn't pause that much in this video. I'm very, very sorry for that. I'm rushing making videos, okay? I've been very, very busy lately, and I'm kind of lost at that part, okay? I'm lost at that part because I don't know much about the July crisis. But anyway, next video may actually be about Voices of the Past, or we might end the series there, or we can continue the what's that again? We can continue the Pacific War series. And yeah, the last episode is the World War I, the Seminal tragedy, the final act. Yes, the final act of this, of the let's say the start, or let's say before the start of World War I. Anyway, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos like this. And yeah, folks, thank you for all of your support. See you next time.